She wasn't supposed to be with anyone else. Not on camera, not in Miami, not while Jovi was still posting from Texas and calling her his wife. But there it was, a grainy video, shot from across the street, catching Yara laughing with a man no one recognized. Hand on his shoulder. Leaning in. Way too close to call friendly. And the worst part? That clip didn't come from TLC. It came from someone sitting 2 tables away who posted it with a caption that broke the fandom in half. Yara ain't loyal. The scene was too real. No producer setup, no camera crew, no makeup. Just Yara in heels, hugging a tall guy with slick hair and an accent. The clip spread across Reddit in minutes, then spilled over to TikTok, then to commentary channels. Jovi said nothing. But the silence didn't calm anything. It made it worse. Especially when the second video dropped. 3 days later, Gwen was spotted walking into the Jefferson Parish Courthouse. Alone. No makeup. Holding a manila folder. When asked what the visit was for, she didn't say a word. But her glare said everything. Within hours, TMZ ran a headline with 5 words that changed the whole tone of the season. Gwen files for custody inquiry. This wasn't some messy marriage fight anymore. This was about Mylah. About whether Yara was bringing strangers around her toddler. About whether Jovi even knew where his wife was at night. And it forced fans to look back at everything with new eyes. The missed FaceTime calls, the solo spa weekend, the baby shower Gwen didn't attend, the awkward silences in the confessionals. Nothing was small now. Every moment had new meaning. And every silence felt strategic. The question no one could answer was simple. If Yara had nothing to hide, why didn't she say anything when the video leaked? But there was one person who wasn't staying quiet anymore. Gwen. And she didn't come with a post. She came with paperwork. Things didn't fall apart overnight. The distance had been there for a while. Subtle, quiet, but building. On camera, Yara and Jovi smiled through interviews. But it was thin. The warmth was gone. You could see it in how she answered questions. Quick nods. Half smiles. Avoiding eye contact. And Jovi? He stuck to the same tired lines about working a lot and providing. It sounded like an excuse. And Yara looked done hearing it. TLC kept showing the surface, the awkward dinners, the same arguments about travel and priorities, but fans caught what production didn't want to highlight. Yara started showing up alone. Events that used to be Jovi and Yara became solo red carpet moments. Brand events, influencer brunches, even a quiet store launch in Miami. She smiled hard for the cameras, but off camera, she moved like someone alone. No hand to hold. No partner watching her win. The airport photos hit different. That one blurry shot, Yara in black sunglasses, smiling at someone behind the camera. It wasn't Jovi. He was tagged in New Orleans the same day. But she looked happy. Genuinely happy. That smile didn't match the mood she had around Jovi in their last 3 interviews. Instagram started to shift too. Less family posts, more selfies, captions about self-love. No more couple content. The matching outfits were gone. The couple TikToks stopped. Then the travel photos with no geotag. When fans asked, "Where's Jovi?" she ignored the comments or deleted them. Fans didn't miss the pattern. A Reddit thread broke it down by week. Every public appearance Yara made without Jovi. The data was brutal. In 3 months, they hadn't been seen together in over half of their outings. Jovi played it cool in public, smiling with Gwen, posing with Mylah. But even that felt staged. Behind the scenes, the tone was off. Yara would lean away in interviews. Jovi would interrupt her mid-sentence. The chemistry wasn't cold. It was clinical. Like 2 people working for a show, not working on a marriage. So when that Miami video surfaced, it didn't feel random. It felt like a crack that had been waiting to show. And the fan pages? They didn't treat it as a scandal. They treated it like confirmation. All the clues were already there. And now, they were asking who the guy was, and why Gwen looked ready to fight. He wasn't a complete nobody. Within hours, Internet sleuths had a name. His account had a blue check. His highlights were filled with Miami, Dubai, Kiev. Not a random tag-along or a local fan. This guy was already known in crypto circles. Former soccer player turned NFT advisor turned startup angel. His grid was full of sleek suits, yachts, and just enough fitness thirst traps to make headlines when paired with someone like Yara. But that wasn't what made fans lose their minds. It was the background of one particular Instagram story. A casual post, just a late-night snack, and a movie playing on the TV. But the moment someone zoomed in, everything changed. Behind the plate of food, on the right edge of the frame, was a familiar piece of wall art. A neutral-toned floral print Yara had shown during her apartment tour 2 seasons ago. The same frame, same lighting, same wall. 10 minutes later, someone dug up a scene from Happily Ever After, where Yara sat on the couch showing her skincare line. The rug matched too. That post was deleted fast. But not fast enough. Screenshots flooded Reddit, TikTok, and fan forums. The question wasn't just, who is this guy? Anymore. It was, why is he in Yara's apartment? Yara didn't comment. Jovi didn't post. TLC said nothing. But Gwen? She dropped a vague Instagram quote that didn't feel so vague. You don't play with a mother's rights. It didn't take long before that got screenshotted and reposted across every 90-day page in existence. The man's name started trending in comment sections. His old Instagram photos were analyzed. A video surfaced of him talking about family values on a Ukrainian podcast. Another clip showed him at a gala where Yara was spotted weeks earlier. People put them in the same room, same timeline, and filled in the rest. What made it worse was how casual it all seemed. Like this wasn't new. Like this wasn't a secret. Just something Yara never addressed, and Jovi never caught. Now, Gwen wasn't the only one asking questions. Production was scrambling. TLC insiders said the reunion shoot had been delayed. Cast members were told to stop public posting. But the mystery man's photo from Yara's apartment was still sitting in people's phones, and no one could unsee it. Jovi wasn't supposed to find out like this. But he did, during filming, surrounded by lights and cameras. While producers pretended they hadn't seen the clip, a cast member mentioned it offhand, thinking Jovi already knew. He didn't. And the moment he pulled out his phone and saw the image of that man inside Yara's apartment, the energy on set flipped. He went pale, then silent, then furious. He didn't yell. He didn't storm off. He just stood up, asked where Yara was, and started walking. Mic still clipped, cameras still rolling. The producers followed, but they didn't stop him. They let him find her in the hallway. No warning, no plan, just raw emotion. He asked one question, who is he? And Yara froze. What happened next never aired. The entire confrontation was cut from the episode. Producers said it didn't fit the timeline. But insiders later said it got too real, too fast. Jovi's voice cracked. Yara got defensive. A producer stepped in. And when Jovi asked for the raw footage to be shown, they refused. TLC didn't want that kind of heat. Not yet. That's when Gwen made her move. She wasn't waiting for the network. She wasn't waiting for answers. She wanted access. Legal access. She found a custody attorney and scheduled a meeting. Not to take Mylah away, but to protect her rights if things escalated. If Yara left the country. If someone else started parenting the child she raised alongside her son. The filing wasn't dramatic. It was precise. Grandparent access in the event of separation or relocation. Legal observers said it was rare, but not impossible. And once that document became public, the drama exploded. People started picking sides. Some called Gwen controlling. Others said she was the only adult in the room. But no one could deny the timing. This wasn't a random legal move. This was a reaction to something she'd already seen coming. Accusations filled the comments. That Yara had emotionally checked out. That Jovi was in denial. That TLC protected drama more than kids. Fans scoured old clips for red flags. Some pointed to a moment when Gwen looked heartbroken at a baby shower. Others replayed a tense dinner scene where Yara barely looked at Jovi. It wasn't fiction. It was footage. And now, the story was heading to court. Yara didn't post a denial. She didn't explain, clarify, or defend. She just disappeared. Her Instagram flipped to private. 3 of her most recent posts vanished: the Miami restaurant, the luxury skincare launch, and the outfit tagged self-love era. Comments were gone. Mentions shut down. No statement. No reaction. And in a weird way, that said more than words ever could. Meanwhile, Jovi broke. Not on TV. On a podcast. A casual appearance meant to promote the upcoming reunion. But the host pushed gently, asking if he and Yara were still together. Jovi paused for too long, then gave a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Honestly, I don't know what's going on anymore. Then came the slip. He said he saw messages. Not rumors, not theories, messages. From the guy, to Yara. Friendly? Sure, but not harmless. He didn't name names, but he said one thing that stuck. When someone you love lies with their phone face down, it's never a good sign. The podcast cut that part in the final upload, but the raw audio leaked. And once fans heard it, there was no walking it back. Jovi knew more than he'd shown. He wasn't just reacting to gossip, he was reacting to receipts. TLC didn't step in. No press release. No corrections. Nothing. But 2 producers who regularly liked and commented on Yara's posts quietly unfollowed her. One deleted all public photos from the cast wrap party. Another wiped her tagged stories. Behind the scenes, Gwen wasn't staying silent anymore. Her attorney gave a short interview to a local paper. No direct quotes, but heavy hints. Something about protecting ongoing relationships between grandparents and minors in cases of marital ambiguity. That phrase spread like wildfire across fan accounts. Everyone knew what it meant. The silence from TLC started looking strategic. Not neutral, not professional, strategic. As if they were buying time, waiting to see how much worse this could get. And worse didn't take long. Because while Yara stayed private, the man in question didn't. His page was still public. His stories were still active. And one of them, late at night, showed a plate of food, a cartoon playing in the background, and a child's pink sippy cup on the table. Viewers paused, zoomed in, then froze. That was Mylah's cup. The clip wasn't staged. It wasn't polished. It wasn't supposed to leak. But it did. And it changed everything. A quick clip. Barely 5 seconds. No faces. Just audio. The camera points at a messy countertop. Some toys on the floor. A familiar rug. Then a man's voice cuts through softly, with a thick accent, calling out, "Come on, princess." That single word broke the internet. Princess. That's what Jovi calls Mylah. Always has. It's not a casual nickname. It's theirs. Fans didn't hear affection in that clip. They heard replacement. And rage. Theories exploded. Who recorded the video? Why was it online for only an hour before disappearing? Why was a strange man in that space, using that word, in what appeared to be Yara's apartment with her daughter present? TLC said nothing. Again. The silence was louder than any denial. Meanwhile, Yara's best friend posted an Instagram story with a plain black background and one sentence in white text: "Starting fresh isn't betrayal, it's survival." No tags, no mentions. But everyone knew who it was about. Then Gwen went public. Fully public. She launched a YouTube channel. Not for cooking, not for crafts. For one reason, her side. The very first video was just under 5 minutes long, titled "For Mylah." No production, no edits. Just Gwen in a quiet room, holding a stack of printed documents. She didn't slam Yara. She didn't insult. She just said what the court papers meant, what her rights were, what her intentions were. She didn't want custody. She wanted legal access, protection, and clarity. And then she looked straight into the camera and said, "If anyone else is raising my granddaughter, I have a right to know." That line turned a custody request into a cultural moment. It wasn't just about parenting anymore. It was about erasure. About being replaced. About a man Yara hadn't named, hadn't explained, stepping into a role Jovi hadn't vacated. And the man? He still hadn't denied anything. He just kept posting. More luxury shots. More beach sunsets. A pair of tiny pink sandals in the background of one photo. Comment sections filled with flames, flags, and broken hearts. TLC knew they couldn't ignore it much longer, but by the time they stepped in, the audience already picked a side. Yara reappeared without warning. No apology, no denial, no clarity. Just a single filtered selfie, half face, neutral lips, oversized sunglasses indoors. Caption? Healing isn't always loud. That was it. No Jovi, no Mylah, and no ring. It didn't take long for the comments to flood in, but only a few stayed visible. The rest were deleted, filtered, or blocked. Fans asked where Jovi was, asked who the man was, asked what healing meant. She said nothing, not a single reply. And yet, her silence answered more than words ever could. People zoomed in. No ring. Same couch. Same gold mirror behind her. The clues weren't hidden. They were passive. And the fans who'd been defending her all year started falling quiet. Jovi didn't stay silent. He posted a throwback photo of Mylah in his arms, both of them smiling on a beach. No caption, just a single broken heart emoji. No tag, no location. But the emotion was clear. Not anger, not even bitterness, just loss. The comment section turned into a battlefield. Some fans blamed Jovi for being away too much. Others defended him for trying to work and provide. Some asked where the clip of him finding out had gone. A few accused TLC of covering for Yara. And a shocking number said what no one wanted to admit out loud, this marriage might already be over. Then the real signal came. Production stopped. According to a leaked memo from someone inside the editing team, Happily Ever After halted filming with Yara and Jovi the same week Gwen launched her YouTube. No final scenes, no planned reunion segments, no new interviews. Just a quiet pause. TLC didn't issue a statement, but insiders said it was mutual discomfort. Fans took that as code for something worse, that the situation behind the scenes had gotten legally messy, emotionally unstable, or both. And, with the court filings still active and public opinion cracking in every direction, TLC wasn't risking another public meltdown. And then came the twist no one saw coming. Not from Yara. Not from Jovi. From someone else. The man. The one in the leaked clips. The one calling Mylah princess. He posted a story. Of a bracelet. A gold one. With the initials Y and M side by side. And nothing else. The teaser wasn't supposed to drop early. But someone leaked it anyway. A rough cut. Unfinished. No graphics. No music. Just raw footage. And for once, it wasn't the drama that shocked viewers. It was the silence. Jovi looked wrecked. Not TV wrecked. Not hangover wrecked. Wrecked like a man who'd stopped sleeping. Eyes red. Cheeks sunken. His voice almost unrecognizable. The first words out of his mouth weren't about love or marriage or regrets. He said, "I haven't seen my daughter in over a month." He didn't cry. He didn't rage. He said it flat, like it had already broken him, and now there was nothing left to break. The host tried to move to a new question, but he interrupted, said he wasn't there to perform. He was only doing this because his contract forced him to. Then he looked into the camera and said one thing that shattered the internet. "I lost everything trying to protect what didn't exist anymore." No one expected Gwen to speak next. But she did. She was sitting in a separate studio, alone. TLC split the taping. Yara had refused to be in the same space with Gwen. She claimed it was for safety. But Gwen said she never threatened anything, only asked questions that no one wanted to answer. Then she pulled out a sheet of paper. It was the filing again. This time, she read from it. Slowly. Clearly. She repeated the words access and protection 3 times. Then she broke down mid-sentence, turned away from the camera, didn't try to hide the shaking. When she turned back, her mascara was streaked, and her voice cracked as she said, I held that baby more than anyone. And now I'm locked out of her life like I don't matter. That line became the headline across every fan page, meme account, and recap channel within hours. Yara didn't respond. She didn't have to. Her segment was filmed days later in a completely different room. Clean set. Soft lighting. No audience. No family. She wore white. Spoke slowly. Gave generic answers. Said things like, sometimes peace costs everything. And you don't always owe people access to your journey. But when asked directly if she had kept Mylah from Jovi, she didn't say no. She said, we needed space. When asked if the man in the videos was someone she was seeing, she paused, then said, I'm not going to comment on personal friendships. And when asked if she would ever sit down with Gwen again, her answer was sharp. Absolutely not. TLC's attempt to salvage the reunion backfired. Instead of a confrontation, they aired 2 disconnected grief spirals. One from a mother-in-law who felt erased. One from a husband who looked like he'd lost the will to fight. And one from Yara, calm and controlled. Speaking like this was just another chapter, not a collapse. The host ended her segment with one last question. Do you want people to understand your side? Yara smiled. But it didn't reach her eyes. People will believe what they want. I don't need to convince anyone. She stood up before the camera even cut. Walked off set. No hug, no wave. Just a quick glance toward the lights before disappearing behind the curtain. The Raw teaser ended there. No season wrap montage. No group hug. No laughs. Just silence. And a growing sense that this wasn't entertainment anymore. It was a family falling apart in real time, and no one could edit around it. The longer viewers sat with it, the more uncomfortable it felt. This wasn't closure. This was exposure. Unfinished, untidy, and completely real. But one part of the footage was never meant to be shown. A producer's mic stayed hot after Yara walked off. Someone whispered, that was cold. Another replied, she's not coming back. That line was never meant for the public. But now, it was the only thing anyone could think about. The season finale should have tied things up. That's what viewers expect, a resolution, a redemption, at least a clear fallout. But this time, TLC gave none of that. No court update, no statement about the custody filing, no sit down between Gwen and Yara, no final family scene. They aired an ending without closure, and it felt intentional. The episode opens quiet, almost too quiet. No dramatic music, just long shots of an empty apartment. Toys on the floor, a blanket on the edge of the couch. A single baby sock near the stairs. There's no voiceover, no text on screen, only stillness, like the space had been lived in and left. Cut to Jovi standing alone in the living room. He's looking at his phone, but his hands are shaking. The camera doesn't push in, it just holds. You can hear him breathing. It's slow, shallow. He finally speaks, but not to anyone in the room. She's gone. I don't even know where they went. The scene cuts again. Gwen in her kitchen, pouring coffee. She's not crying. She looks tired. Older. She speaks without looking at the camera. I did what I had to do. Nobody's gonna make me feel bad for loving my granddaughter. The next 10 minutes show a flashback montage. Yara packing. Quietly. No yelling. Mylah asleep on the bed. A suitcase already zipped. Her phone rings once. She sends it to voicemail. TLC doesn't say where she's going, only shows her leaving the house, stepping into a black SUV with tinted windows. The driver opens the door. A blurred figure is already inside. The figure doesn't look at her. She doesn't speak. She just slides in, holding Mylah, and the door shuts. Back at the apartment, Jovi paces. Production asks if he wants to film a goodbye. He says no. Says it wouldn't be real. Says, I already said goodbye, I just didn't know it was the last one. The tell-all had already aired. The court filings were public. Social media was chaos. But TLC didn't acknowledge any of it. They cut straight to a final scene at the airport. Jovi is there alone. One camera on his face. One on the terminal doors. Flights arriving. Families reuniting. No Yara. He checks his watch. Paces again. A single overhead call announces a delayed flight. He doesn't move. Then she appears. In the distance, Yara walks out holding Mylah, dressed in all black. Sunglasses on. Beside her, that same blurred figure walks a few steps behind. No hand-holding. No luggage in his hands. But the spacing tells a story. Close enough to matter, far enough to stay deniable. The camera doesn't cut to Jovi right away. It lingers on her. On Mylah's sleepy face against Yara's shoulder. On the man pushing the stroller without a word. Jovi doesn't wave. He doesn't shout. He watches. Frozen. His body tilts forward like he wants to speak. Then stops. Yara doesn't look up. She keeps walking past baggage claim. Past the coffee stand. Toward the exit, the man reaches for the door. She steps through. Sunlight hits her face. Still no eye contact. The camera switches back to Jovi. He's still staring. Not blinking. And that's it. No music. No update screen. No narration. Just the door slowly swinging shut. Then, one final voiceover. Some things don't get fixed. That was a line TLC chose to end on. And the fandom erupted. Some called it haunting. Others called it heartless. But no one called it finished. Not even close. Fan groups immediately started threads. Where were they going? Was the blurred figure really him? Why blur a face that had already leaked? Why didn't Jovi stop them? Why didn't Gwen come to the airport? Why no legal update? Where were the answers? TLC gave none. And that silence worked. The ambiguity fed the chaos. People replayed the scene frame by frame. Claimed they recognized the man's watch. Matched his shoes to a previous Instagram post. Said Yara's luggage had the same tag from the Dubai trip she denied ever taking. Even more frustrating? No cast reactions, no Instagram lives, no comment wars, not even a shady tweet. Everyone stayed quiet. Yara didn't even acknowledge the finale. She posted a brand promo the next day. Comment limited. No captions about the show, no mention of the ending. As if it didn't air. Jovi stayed off social completely. Gwen posted a single photo of her dog with the caption, "Peace isn't always quiet." Fans took it as shade. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But everyone agreed. The final episode felt more like a pause than a finale. And that's where TLC left it. Not with closure, but with confusion. Not with healing, but with questions. And the feeling that someone had walked away holding all the answers and didn't plan on giving any back. The door shut. The screen faded to black. And all that remained was one man, one suitcase, and a family that no longer looked like one. The cameras didn't return to the apartment. Not after the airport. Not after the silence. TLC knew better than to force a fake reunion when the pieces weren't even in the same room anymore. So, they did what they rarely do. They let the cast speak alone. No sets. No lights. Just confessional chairs, raw emotion, and no direction. Jovi's turn came first. He looked like someone who had rehearsed 100 things to say, but chose none of them. His shoulders hunched forward, his hands clenched between his knees. The words didn't come easily. When they did, they weren't elegant. "I feel replaced," he said. He didn't look at the camera, he looked at the floor. Not just in the relationship. As a dad. As a person. I walk into my house, and it doesn't feel like mine anymore. It feels like I showed up late to a party I wasn't invited to. He paused, pulled out his phone, showed a photo of Mylah asleep on his chest from a year ago. That's the last time I felt like her whole world. Then he started crying. Not loud, not performative, just quiet, embarrassed, sudden tears, the kind men aren't supposed to show on TV. He wiped them fast. I don't want to talk bad about Yara. I don't hate her. I hate that it ended like this. I hate that it's public. I hate that Mylah has to grow up one day and watch us fall apart. He took off his mic before they asked. Stood up. Walked out without saying another word. Gwen sat down next. She had a manila envelope in her lap. Court documents. She didn't hold them up this time. She didn't need to. I didn't want this, she said. I didn't want lawyers. I didn't want cameras at a courthouse. I wanted Sunday dinners. I wanted to be the grandma who babysits, not the one who sues for rights. Her voice wavered, but she held steady. When Jovi called me crying, saying he hadn't seen Mylah in weeks, I didn't wait. I moved. I did what a mother does. You protect your child's child? She looked straight into the camera. You don't need to like me, but don't ever say I didn't fight for her. The rawness of her words pierced even the most critical viewers. This wasn't stage drama anymore. It was a generational fracture playing out in real time. And no one was winning. Then came Yara's final confessional. She didn't cry. She didn't raise her voice. She wore a soft blue sweater and minimal makeup. The room felt sterile. Still. Her tone matched. I know how this looks, she said calmly. I know people think I broke a family. But I didn't. The cracks were already there. She adjusted her sleeve. Took a long breath. Jovi is a good dad. I never said he wasn't. But we wanted different things. He wanted a wife who stayed home and waited. I wanted more. I built something. I'm proud of that. Then her voice tightened. The only time it cracked. I didn't take Mylah away to punish anyone. I left to protect peace. Not start a custody war. She leaned forward. But I'm not going to apologize for choosing peace over performance. I was tired of filming fights for fans who didn't care what happened after the camera stopped. When asked if she regretted the blurred figure at the airport, she smiled. Some people show up for you when others only show up on Instagram. She ended with this. You can judge me for how I left. But you don't get to judge me for leaving. I made a choice that felt safe. If that makes me the villain, so be it. That line became the new war cry online. Team Gwen. Team Jovi. Team Yara. Everyone had their side. But the truth? No one walked away clean. The ending didn't offer clarity. It offered silence. And silence makes people fill in blanks with whatever hurts the most. TLC didn't air a reunion group shot. They didn't showcast hugs or a curtain call. They faded to black after Yara left her confessional. Then one screen. White text. Black background. Update. No custody decision has been made. No further filming is scheduled. And that was it. No music. No season preview. Just silence. The show didn't end. It evaporated. Comment sections were flooded. Did Jovi quit? Did Gwen really get visitation? Where was Mylah now? Was the blurred man officially with Yara? No answers. Only guesses. Instagram pages flipped into detective mode. Screenshots. Background matches. License plates. Old flight info. One clip surfaced of Gwen leaving the courthouse again, alone. No lawyers this time. Just her in a folder. When asked if things were better, she said, no. But they're quieter. That sentence stuck. Because that's how it ended. Not with a bang. Not with a dramatic speech. With quiet. The kind that feels permanent. And as the final moments replayed online, one question hung over every comment thread like fog no one could clear. If this could happen to Jovi and Yara, one of TLC's longest-standing couples, one of the few who made it through so many seasons together, who's next? Because this wasn't about drama anymore. It was about breakdown. Legal, emotional, personal. And while the screen stayed black, another court document leaked. This time, from a different couple. A different custody fight. A different war behind the scenes. Your next video already has the story. And this time, it doesn't start with love. It starts with a subpoena.